President Thomas Black and by our Sports Director Kit McConnell. Since the session is streamed live and you've been following it very closely today, we won't have a commentary. We'll just be happy to go into questions and answers for half an hour or so. So without further ado, if you have a question, please could you indicate, and we will start with Mark von Twiak at the front and we'll slowly move back. But, Mark, over to you.
Sorry, I'm a bit out of breath. I had to run to be here on time. What happened yesterday morning when you met in Paris on the 25th of July? You were very firm with regard to you wishing to retire in 2025 and to keep the current status. But yesterday in your answer, that was open to interpretation. You could have said, no, I'm going to stop in 2025, but you didn't say that. How should we take your reaction? How should we interpret it?
The situation was as follows, that I had heard some rumors before, and that some members wanted and want me to continue my mandate, but I did clearly not expect that this would come to the session, that it would be brought up in the session. Now, after yesterday, then I had a number of conversations with a number of IOC colleagues. And from this, I can conclude that there were mainly two motivations for them, which are coming together. There are a number of these colleagues think and feel that an election campaign so early before the election would or is disrupting the preparations for the Olympic Games Paris, which are so important for the entire Olympic movement, and this is why they would like to avoid this. And then they all wanted to express their recognition for the work having been accomplished by the IOC in the last 10 years, and they wanted to show their strong support for this. And as I said yesterday, and I believe this is human, that I was really touched and I appreciated very much this show of support and friendship for me. And for these reasons, it is a matter of mutual respect and personal relationship that you do not dismiss such a sign of support and friendship out of hand.
One quick follow-up, because we have to get around if we can, Mark, but yeah.
Sorry?
Very
no,
quick.
I'm sorry if I follow up. What I don't understand, do you really want to, are you going to be a candidate in 2025?
My answer, and that's my answer.
Okay, let's go over here to Inside the Games. Yeah, just.
Patrick Burke from Inside the Games. Mr. President, thanks as always for the opportunity. Can I ask, it's been more than 6 months now since you updated your recommendations on Russian and Belarusian athletes. You said a number of times you want athletes from all countries to compete at the Olympic Games in Paris next year. So can I ask what's taking so long to make this decision on Paris 2024, and what factors are you taking into consideration for this to be dragging out over a number of months?
These are the factors we have been given from the very beginning, that we want to carefully evaluate what is happening in the qualification tournaments, what is happening in the World Championships or Continental Championships, who serve as qualifiers for the Olympic Games, and this is what we are continuing to do. You have heard here an interim report by Mr. McConnell on this, and you have also heard many interventions by the IOC members and many others about the overarching mission of the Olympic Games to bring the entire world together in a peaceful competition.
Yeah, gentleman just here at the back with the grey beard, yeah.
Mr. Bach, thanks for the opportunity. And as an Indian, I'm very happy that you have included cricket in the Olympics. But my question is, why did it take 125 years? First thing. Secondly, I have read and you have also said that the International Olympic Association was concerned that they wanted to cater to this part of the world. Actually, they had ignored. Is it because this part of the world is ready to bankroll the cricket's inclusion, mainly India?
Now, cricket has evolved very, very much over the recent years. I cannot speak, about 50 years before. But what I can see, and what we all can see, is this great development of cricket, and we have also always been made aware of this, not only about the great development of cricket in India, but beyond, by our IOC member in India, Nita Ambani, who has there given good advice. We have seen the figures developing. And then we had there this discussion with the organizing committee of LA, so everything came together.
Okay, we're going to take 3 questions online. Where's Christian? Yeah, please, Christian.
Mark, we start with Graham Dunbar from AP.
Okay, Graham, you can go ahead if you can hear us. We can see you now, yeah. No, we can't hear you. You're on mute.
Okay.
There we go. Yeah.
Right. Okay, thank you. No surprises that the subject I'd like to turn back to is the term limit discussion yesterday, which, when you say it was unexpected to be brought up in the session, but everyone had brought their script for it. It's saying if you don't stop something, you're encouraging it, and the speculation is going to continue. I was wondering why you would do that, because outside of the bubble of Olympic family politics, I don't think there's anyone thinks this is a good idea for the reputation of the IOC's governance. And it exposes you personally to comparisons with other presidents or leaders that most people would think are not flattering. So when it's about the reputation of the institution, wouldn't your colleagues understand why there's a need to stop this speculation now? Because it's not obvious that there's any positive reason for letting it continue.
There are many assumptions and many questions there in your intervention here. Again, what I can tell you is that from what I have heard from these members is that they are concerned about an early campaign at this moment, which would disrupt the preparations for the Games in Paris. And for the rest, you may understand that such an answer you don't give out of hand, and you don't give over the media. But this has to be discussed with the people concerned, and then the media will be informed.
But they want to stop Seb Coe, because he's the only one who's sort of slightly campaigned so far.
I leave this up to you.
Thank you very much. Let's go to another one online. Yes, Christian.
Next question comes from India. Boria Majumdar from Ref Sports.
President Bach, thank you very much for the opportunity. Now that it's final that cricket is part of the LA program, a two-part question. How significant is the inclusion of cricket in terms of expanding the global footprint of the Olympic movement into the global south? India, of course, but into other countries as well. And secondly, how important is the economic currency of cricket in this part of the world for the IOC in terms of adding to the overall commercial value of the Olympic movement?
I may start with a second question. This is not a consideration which comes there in the first line. This can be the consequence, and there we have to see. The first argument and the most important argument is what I mentioned before, that we have seen the growing international importance of cricket, and that the Olympic Games, want to represent and want to incorporate the most popular sports worldwide. And here it came together that this sport also has a growing importance in United States. Therefore, this proposal was very, very much welcome. Now it has to be implemented, and then we can see which consequences it has.
Okay, let's go back onto the floor here. I see. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, very quickly. No. I tell you what, one more question from online. Julie Jagg, from
Correct.
Deseret News?
No, Salt Lake Tribune.
Salt Lake Tribune. I do apologise, Julie. Please go ahead.
Well, either way, I'm sure you know what I'm going to be asking about. So thanks for having me on. So yesterday, Mr. Karl Stas talked about Salt Lake being the only site to bid to host the 2034 Winter Games. I was wondering, with that and with the decision to issue a dual award, and with Salt Lake's already having its assurances, is there any scenario in which Salt Lake won't host in 2030? Could it still host, won't host in 2034? Could it still host in 2030 or a different games?
You are asking the wrong person. This is in the hand of the future host commission, on which, by our regulations, a member of the IOC executive board is not allowed to sit. So I can only answer to you what we all heard in the session, that the commission wanted to have a green light in case all other conditions are being met. And that's all I can say. So it's not that the session yesterday has decided that there will be one. The decision was that there could be one.
Thank you very much. Let's go to Alex Capstick, and then two gentlemen there, next to each other. Thank you.
Thank you. Hello. It's Alex Capstick with the BBC. Just a quick one, returning to cricket. Did you have discussions with the ICC about the fact that one of their full members, Afghanistan, doesn't have a women's team? Most of their women are effectively in exile in Australia. And, should Afghanistan qualify for the 2028 LA Games, the men's team, that is, would they be allowed to play?
You have also heard yesterday the report by Mr. McLeod over the situation in Afghanistan and the participation of Afghanistan in the Asian Games with a significant, if not even a majority of a female representation. So we are keeping a close eye on this and monitoring this very closely. And we have also been encouraged by our member in Afghanistan, Samira Ashgari, to continue our support for female athletes and their entourage in Afghanistan, and for the ones who are not living in Afghanistan, as we are doing. And the same request I had from a member of the team of Afghanistan, from a female member, when I met her in Hangzhou at the Asian Games. And in this broader context, of course, also cricket will be considered. This, in the end, must be a decision then about the situation of the NOC as such, and of the representation of the team.
Okay, we're going to go to these two gentlemen here behind the photographer. Yeah.
Hi. Question to the President. Cassie Westerman, regarding cricket, spoke about them having discussions with stakeholders, IOC, ICC, but even leagues around the world and franchisees. Just curious, how much did IOC also have a dialogue with not just ICC, but even franchises around the world, the Major League Cricket in US, the Indian Premier League in India, and also the franchisees that are involved in it? What were the dialogues with all parties concerned?
Not that I knew, but Mr. McConnell can maybe reveal some secrets. What I know, I said before, that we could always rely on the good advice of Mrs. Ambani. But the further contacts and discussions have been taken place with Mr. McConnell. So I think he can inform you in more detail.
Well, thank you, President. Good afternoon, everyone. Look, from our side, all of the dialogue is with the respective international federations, so the International Cricket Council, in regard to cricket, and that's the same across all of the proposed sports that were put forward by Los Angeles. In regard to Los Angeles themselves, I'm sure they had discussions with all of the domestic partners, including the National Federation and others. You heard the importance of the domestic professional leagues that was expressed in the LA proposal today through LA, but equally clearly it's always with the international federation and with the respective national federation, as well as those domestic professional partners.
Thank you very much. Yeah, gentlemen, yeah, please,
Hi,
and then we're going to go back. Yeah.
Hi, sir. This is Devarchit here from Press Trust of India. The line of questioning, just continuing a little bit about cricket itself. Cricket is back in Olympics after 1900s. Squash also has had to wait for a pretty long time to be included in the Olympic schedule. How far do you see these sports going on in the program? Like longevity beyond 2028 is my question is.
That's too early to say. This will also depend then on Brisbane 2032. And there I cannot comment on this. The decision today was for the program in 2028 and is for this edition of the Olympic Games only.
Okay, there's a gentleman, yeah, with your hand. You had your hand up earlier on. Yeah, there. You, sir. Yeah. With the brown shirt on. Thank you very much.
Hi, Mihir Vasavda from the Indian Express. President Bach, we believe you had conversations with the President of the Indian NOC, Dr. Usha. Can you please tell us what has been discussed regarding the status of the IOA and also the fact that Prime Minister Modi announced India's intention to host the 2036 Olympics? How crucial will it be for the IOA to get its house in order?
We had discussions with the newly elected President P.T. Usha, and we were taking stock of the developments and spoke about the necessary next steps. This is in particular the appointment of a CEO. Therefore, for the IOA, and she was very receptive, and she has already also undertaken, first steps within the IOA. So we are at this moment we are confident that this appointment can come soon. There is a nomination commission being responsible for this. This nomination commission will then make a proposal, and then the executive committee is in a position to make this appointment. And from there on, then we can take the further work. And I can only say that PT Usha appears to be, very determined to drive these reforms and these new steps forward, and that also, given her own experience as athlete, that she can gain access to the athletes community in a very helpful way for the further development of IOA.
Okay, I'm going to take a couple more from online, Christian, and then we'll take two more from in the hall, and I think that will probably be, we'll call it a day. So, Christian, over to you.
That's Ashish Sharma to start with.
Hi, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to ask the question. Mr. President, the situation with Israel and Palestine is getting graver and graver by each day, turning into a big humanitarian crisis. What concerns does the IOC have in the way things are developing there in terms of the possibility of the war ongoing, but also in the spill-off effect that we're seeing in other countries now with retaliations and reactions, and how much concern do you have for this in regarding sporting events moving ahead and possibly even looking ahead to Paris next year in terms of safety and security? Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. The IOC Executive Board members have, at the very beginning of our meetings here, already expressed their very strong feelings over these indeed extremely tragic and regretful events in the recent days, and expressed our sympathy with the innocent victims of this terrible violence. At this moment, we cannot see their let's say, an effect yet on the participation in sport. You have, of course, the immediate reactions. Some events which should have taken place in Israel had to be postponed. The athletes in Israel and Palestine are facing a war situation, and there, of course, cannot continue their sports life as usual. But we don't know, how long this will take, and which more long-term effects it may have. That's beyond our knowledge, and there we have to wait and keep monitoring.
Thank you very much. Let's go. Last question online. I think we have Ed Hula, and then we'll take a couple more in the room. So, Ed, are you there? Ed Hula. Okay, then we're going to go two more. Gentlemen here, and then we'll finish off with Wakako. So, gentlemen.
Thank you very much. President Bach, we heard consistently today that relationship with professional leagues was becoming paramount. Is this the way forward for IOC? Are you going to be looking more at professional leagues as partners rather than international federations? And the other question I have for you is, with cricket, there's so much focus on the best players being available to compete in Los Angeles. Does it mean that cricket can stay out if the best players don't turn up in Los Angeles?
With regard to the first question, there we have given an answer in our Olympic agenda, where we already said that we want and to improve our relations with the professional leagues, and doing this in cooperation with the international federations. You can, for instance, see where this is happening very well is in basketball, where we are in good contact with NBA, and in doing this in cooperation with FIBA. And this has led to a very positive development for basketball worldwide and also within the Olympic Games. And we would appreciate having the same kind of relationship with a number of other leagues. There are ongoing contacts. During my recent visit, thinking in spring this year, I met again the NFL commissioner, for instance, and there are contacts then together with the International Ice Hockey Federation and NHL. But there we could, still imagine an even closer cooperation given the ever-growing importance of these professional leagues. The second question is a hypothetical one. At this moment, we have every reason to believe that the best cricket players of the world have a very keen interest to play in the Olympic Games.
Okay, Wakako, I think this is the final question. So, yeah, Wakako.
Thank you. Wakako Yuki from the Yomiuri Shimbun, President. Two questions, if I may. One is, at the opening ceremony speech, you've talked about the future of digital era extensively. And of course, yesterday we heard a lot of members asked you to stay on beyond 25. If you are urged and the proper measures taken in terms of amendments, do you have a passion to stay and lead on the Olympic movement in the future? And if I may, President, second part, 2034 session agreed to let it being studied. And once it's done, then other cities, including Sapporo, may not have a chance for a long time. Could you have any comment, perhaps of consolation, to Sapporo or any other city, especially Sapporo being the front runner used to be? Thank you.
Thank you. First of all, I think I will always have a passion, and I always had a passion for the Olympic movement, and this is independent of any office I'm having in the IOC. My love for sport and the Olympic movement is irrespective there of any offices. I have also yesterday made it clear, that how loyal I am to the Olympic Charter, and having been a co-author of the Olympic Charter, also speaks for the fact that I'm thinking term limits are making a lot of sense and are necessary. And again, at the same time, it's a matter of respect and mutual respect for these members, that answers are not given over the media, but in a direct contact. With regard to the Sapporo and the allocation of the Olympic Winter Games 2030, I can only refer to what I said before. We have to wait with which proposal the future host commission for the Winter Games will come up, and who would be then the partners in the targeted dialogue for either one edition or for 2 editions.
Thank you very much, President. Thank you, Kit. That is the end of this which is the last press conference. Tomorrow is mixed zone only, so you can ask your questions in the mixed zone. Thank you very much, President. Thank you, Keith.
Thank you.
Test vehicle D1 mission is scheduled on 21st October. So this is Gaggan